So today was a somewhat special day for me. It's Today marks roughly 3 years since I started working out with weights. I started back in 2019 after the Blues won the Stanley Cup. It was a deal that I had made with a coworker and a friend of mine that once the Blues won, I'd start working out with him just because I had gotten to a point physically where my thighs were rubbing holes in my pants, and I wanted to fix that because it kind of sucked. It was a little embarrassing to have that happen to me. So I kind of started working out with him and picked that up, and I've kind of gone from there and really just kind of progressed and gained a lot of strength and have learned a lot about myself in the process. When I first started working out, I weighed about 179 pounds, and I was pretty chubby and, didn't have the greatest physique, didn't have really great tolerance. I could only bench like 60 pounds. I could only squat about 60. I didn't even deadlift until like 3.5 months in. And at that point, I could only deadlift like 205 pounds, and it was a very shitty deadlift done on like a standard bar. So with like the little bitty weight, like plastic and vinyl weights, that was done at a deficit too. So this bar was like threatening to fall apart, and I like barely picked it up. I like really messed my back up doing it too. And, it was like the beginning of that. And after that happened, we started going to a gym more frequently together so that we could really focus on our exercises and like do them properly and gain real experience and strength. And things have just kind of gone from there. I've had a lot of ups and downs. I've put on a lot of strength and have gained a lot of utilization in my muscles. I've gone from that 60-pound bench to about 215 pounds. I've gone from that 60-pound squat to 385 pounds. And my 205 deadlift with horrible form is now up to 450 pounds on a trap bar, 405 pounds on a standard deadlift bar. And as you'll see today, I ended up pulling 550 pounds off of my high blocks that I have using the low handles on the trap bar. So the strength gains that I've had have been, they're not the most impressive in the world, but it's something that I hold pretty dear to myself. I have had periods in my life to where I have not had good control over my body. I've gone through pretty severe tendinitis in both of my arms that robbed me of my career in music. I had to have surgery on both of my elbows to get the scar tissue removed from that, just so I could use my hands on a day-to-day basis without extreme amounts of pain. I've dealt with multiple injuries, shin splints, issues with asthma, and I wanted something that I could do to fully control my body. And I can do that with this. I started out trying to lose weight, and along the way, I went down from 179 to 160 in about 6 months. I realized that I'd gotten kind of strong in the process. I had taken, at that point, my deadlift up to about 285 pounds, my squat up to around about 300, my bench press was like 185. And, I was pretty lean at that point, but I really liked the strength aspect, and I wanted to pack on muscle and get stronger. And so I changed my diet up a bit, changed my programming, and started doing strong lifts, 5x5, and my strength exploded comparatively to what it was. So 2020 was all about gaining strength and adding on muscle mass, and man, I added a lot. By just November of 2020, I was up to 205 pounds body weight from 160. So I packed on 45 pounds in that year, just slowly adding weight. Probably not the healthiest amount of weight to gain in a year, but it was a long process to add all that. And it was like 2 or 3 pounds a month that I was, well, that's not quite right. About 11 months, 50 pounds or 40 pounds. Yeah, I'd say about like 4 or 5 pounds a month or so, just kind of adding that weight on, and just building up strength and building up muscle. So it not exactly unheard of. So I was adding a pretty decent amount of muscle every month, and then a little bit of fat with that too, because you really can't gain weight or gain muscle without gaining fat. And then I kind of held at that weight for a while, and then cut the following January, got quite a bit stronger. That's when I had squatted 385. I was trying to pull 400 on the deadlift, couldn't quite get it, so I pulled 385 as well. I eventually ended up pulling 405 on my trap bar off the floor for the first time, which I kind of showed that first lift of 405 the other day. And it's just been a journey from there. I've been adding so much strength and utilization of my body. I feel stronger every single day, just normally walking about, and it's a really great feeling to have. I look at my body now and what it looked like before, and the transformation of my physique has just been astounding to me. Kind of touching on today's workout, I did 145 for 5 sets of 5 for front squats. Didn't do them last week because I had a pretty bad sunburn from going to a NASCAR race, and it was uncomfortable for me to hold the bar on my shoulders. Then I did low handle block pulls with the trap bar, and I finally figured out the positioning for balancing the weight with this pull. So I know that's something I kind of mentioned the other time, where you could see the weight dipping forward as I was doing it, and that's just because I wasn't sure where to have my hands exactly. And to be honest, it's a little bit past the middle of the bar to be able to balance it, and I think that might be because the handles are probably a little bit crooked on this bar. They're not perfectly straight. Don't get me wrong, it's a good trap bar. It's Hulk Fits trap bar that I got off of Amazon. But it's not the best in the world. It's good from the high handle because that position naturally pulls itself where it needs to be because of how much higher it is from the weights. But being right in line with the weights of the low handle, you have to take into consideration where you have your hands to be able to pull it. And I got it figured out, and everything's moving quite a bit easier. As I do this weight and this height more and more often. The 505 shot right up, so I was feeling super confident that I'd probably go higher. I put 225 on the bar and dialed in my positioning with the my wrist. You can see me kind of lock everything and then adjust my wrist back and forth until I can feel it. Because if I give a little bit of tug on it without necessarily pulling, I can kind of feel where that balance point is on the bar. And you see right there on my right arm, I'm adjusting. And then here, I'm able to fully grasp that balance and then pull the weight up. Oh, a little bit right there. I could feel it pulling a little bit. So it's me readjusting. And I think one of the mistakes I made last time I did this was that I pulled too far and let it dump on me. So I was losing a lot of energy in the process. Whereas if I just got a little bit and then let it go, then it's fine to go from there. After this, I went for 550 pounds. This is probably close to the maximum amount of weight I can fit on the bar with the weights I've got available to me right now. If I had some more 45s, I could fit, 585 on here. Maybe a little bit more, maybe up to 605 or so by just rubber banding bar or plates on here like I more or less am right now. The first time I did this, I missed it, and I could feel how the weight was trying to pull. This may be the limit for these straps that I bought, because they were locking in when I was pulling this up. And the first time I attempted this weight, didn't quite get it. So it was, I could feel it moving. I popped it off the blocks, but I couldn't quite pull it up into the air. So I gave it one more quick shot. Couldn't quite move it there, but I could feel that I had the power for it. So I said, hey, I'll give myself 3 minutes. I'll give it one more shot. It's not something that's unheard of for me. And I just kind of thought, hey, I'm going to turn my music off. I'm going to, dial in just with myself, no headphones. I'm just going to run over, strap in real quick, no hesitation with where this is at. I'm just going to pull the weight up. And, I was just dialed in. Sometimes that's kind of what it takes, is just to kind of remove any sort of other distractions or things that help kind of keep you from distraction and just kind of limit it to just yourself. And I was able to really focus on this right here and get this weight set and pulled, and 550 pounds really popped up. This wasn't the easiest pull I've ever done. It took a lot of effort just to break it off of the block, so this isn't going to be anywhere close to being able to be done off the floor for me. So it's still more work to be done here, but it's definitely something that I can definitely work towards. So this is all very exciting stuff. I've jumped from 505 to 525 on the high handle, now 550 on the low handle on the high blocks. So I'm pretty confident that I can pull that on the low blocks using the high handles, which again, it's going to be a little bit easier because of leverages, but it's also a little bit harder because of the difference in positioning with my hips. So we'll see. I'm going to contemplate over whether or not I want to try that on Thursday, but I'm kind of leaning towards doing it. But again, reflecting on doing this for 3 years, my biggest regret is I didn't start doing this sooner. I started at 25, and seeing the progress that I've made now, when I'm nearing the age where you hit your typical physical peak for men, I really wish I had started when I was younger, because I know that I would be substantially stronger than I am now, and I'd be a lot further along. But at the same time, I'm still glad that I did start at some point. And I really do recommend to just try it out, and just see how you feel about it. The amount of progress and appreciation for strength that I've gained for myself has been nothing short of like just probably one of the most rewarding and beneficial things I've ever done in my entire life. To be able to gain full control over my body, be able to learn how to move my body as effectively as possible, and just be able to apply this day to day, doing almost whatever I want, is just the benefits and that you gain from that, and the confidence that I had because of this is just, I can't understate how much I appreciate what this has done for me. So here's to 3 years of this, and I look forward to many more going forward, just because I have completely fallen in love with being able to do this and just constantly test my capabilities and my ability to utilize my strength. So thank you for, sticking through this. If you're watching, this is more just a video diary than any sort of thing for people to watch. But if you do, I hopefully you're able to take something out of this, because I'm definitely getting a lot out of it too.